So if everything went according to plan, this video should be uploaded at 1 PM EST. If that's the case, then at 5 PM on this exact day, I will be hosting my very first ever live stream on my Twitch channel. We'll probably be playing Minecraft, maybe some Gmod, but whatever we do, it should be fun. Other than that, I'll let you enjoy the video. Twitch.tv/Dags117. Throughout the decade, Minecraft has gained the reputation of a game that gets very frequently updated. Whether an update consists of full overhauls of areas in the game that may have been lacking previously, or something just as simple as removing a few glitches and adding bees, it is undeniable that Minecraft is a game that is constantly evolving and revamping itself. And with the game being more than a decade old, there is a surplus of experimentation to explore, especially in the game's infancy. Now, almost every video game is bound to have earlier builds of all kinds of cut content, but something that makes Minecraft very unique in particular is that a lot of its early builds have full playable archives leading up to its final release. But a few of these earlier builds seem to have been lost to time and are not playable by the making of this video, meaning that these builds qualify as lost media. Now, you probably already know what lost media is, but if you're unaware, lost media is a term used for a piece, or multiple pieces of media in this instance, that are very difficult to track down or simply no longer exist out of something like a video or a screenshot. This video is going to heavily focus on the classic and pre-classic builds of the game, as everything after in-dev is very minuscule and lacks things such as screenshots or videos. Almost all information from this video comes from the Lost Media Wiki, which I'll link below for yourself to check out. But with that all out of the way, let's take a look back at Minecraft's history to see what has been lost over the years. Now, before we even talk about Minecraft, there is an earlier game that Notch was working on that has very minimal information, which only serves to prove that at one point this game did exist. Let's talk about Ruby Dung. In early 2009, Notch was working on an isometric strategy game before the creation of Minecraft called Ruby Dung. The game as of now has little to no information on it other than its genre. It was said to be inspired by games such as Dwarf Fortress. A few screenshots have surfaced of the game, and that's about it. Somewhere down the line, Notch decided that he wanted this game to be in first person after finding a game called Infiniminer, so the project was indefinitely scrapped, and a small tech demo known as Cave Game, also known as Pre-Classic, came out of it. Over time, this little tech demo started to shape into some of the earliest versions of Minecraft. This stage of Minecraft going on to be known as Minecraft Classic, and it's where most of these lost builds reside. So without any further interruption, let's explore the first lost builds of classic Minecraft. Alright, the first lost build. Build 0.09a is regarded as the first lost build of Minecraft and was set to be released on May 16th of 2009. Much like a lot of the entries here though, not much is known about this build of the game or what was exclusive to it. It was stated to be a semi-private release, which means that it was probably only able to be accessed by a select few people. Only a few screenshots of this build exist now. And something very interesting about this build in particular is this message stating that the game requires Java. Nothing forward has a message like this, making me think that this was something scrapped very early on. 0.010a has no information regarding it actually, other than this archived IRC log, which unfortunately crashes on startup. If I had to infer though, I would assume that this build would have minor differences from 0.09a, if even any at all. Now, 0.011a is where things start to get a bit interesting. Not really because of its features, but more because of its historical impact. In an old Minecraft YouTube video, you can see someone touring a man-made village. Obviously, it's a version that's not available in the launcher, yada yada yada. But the really big thing to note in this video in particular is that this is the very first village ever documented being created in Minecraft, with the video being released on the exact day of Minecraft's release. I always feel so weird seeing these little time capsules today. It's so bizarre seeing how far this little game has come. Only versions 1 and 2 are documented via old Tumblr posts made by Notch. The first one is pretty interesting, as it stated that it was the first version of Minecraft that had water, lava, new generation, as well as an old hotkey for loading chunks. Also, did you know that this is what old Minecraft water used to look like? At the bottom of the post, it states that this was now changed to 0.012A01 because of bugs regarding not being able to kill mobs. Once again, it was apparently changed in a final post regarding the subject, saying that 0.012A02 runs smoother than ever. There's also one more 0.012A release of Minecraft following the underscore number template with 0.012A03. The only proof of this build's existence is in fact another video. This video is also pretty special because it's arguably the first Minecraft video to feature commentary.
Hey guys, this is the Carlzor again. Once again just showing you something that I've been playing around with lately.
The video itself isn't that mesmerizing, just a guy showing off what he calls a little Java game. The only proof of 0.013A is an inaccessible video with the title of the build. It was uploaded by Notch's second account, Nizat, and is found in the launcher, but it is stated that this version could have been modified in some way. Also, about the second Notch YouTube account, it features a lot of interesting stuff regarding pre-alpha Minecraft tests. It is unclear on why a lot of these videos are purged, but luckily we have an archive and a lot of these videos are still accessible. We'll talk more about this channel later. 0.013A 1 and 2 actually have no proof regarding them existing, but most likely did exist, as version numbers weren't usually skipped. And the existence of them is proven even more by the fact that 0.013A was actually found. Yeah, although we don't have it accessible through the launcher, we have an original copy of the build, as well as the launcher version. The original is from the video uploader. Obviously, I'm not going to link the download here because that would be illegally distributing a copy of Minecraft, but you could probably find it yourself. For some reason, there are a total of 8 versions for 0.014A, so instead of going super in depth with all of them, I'm gonna speedrun reading these. Alright, let's go. The first version of 0.014A added clouds, tile picking, faster water and lava, and scroll wheel support. Multiple test versions of this, such as the offset test, were shown on Notch's YouTube channel, but were likely just development versions. 0.014A 1 and 2 have no proof of existing, but likely did exist as numbers weren't usually skipped. 0.014A 3 has screenshots of ores showing that this version did exist. 0.014A 5 and 6 have no proof existing, but likely still did for the same reason as earlier. 0.014A 7 has this screenshot, and 0.014A8 used to be lost but was now found. It was the last version before the multiplayer test. Whew. We all good? Alright, let's move along before I pass out. Just a side note as we go on though, a lot of these builds start to have very minimal information regarding them. So if you see some mildly drastic skips in numbers, that's why. Once again though, I'll leave a link to the Lost Media Wiki with all the information, as well as a playlist of all the videos featured here. With that said, let's move on to the very first multiplayer build, 0.015A-1. The first multiplayer test went as one would expect with the limited resources of Minecraft at the time, but all around, it seems like it was a success. This is another version that was previously lost but was now found too, and we also have video evidence of it. There would go on to be 2 more versions of 0.015A, but for some reason on the website they are listed as the same post regarding quality of life changes to how clients work. After the multiplayer test, it was speculated that 0.016A was made publicly available for some time from this Tumblr post that Notch posted. Although not explicitly addressing 0.016, it was likely talking about that build due to the post's date. The other 2 versions of this build also have screenshots proving their existence at one point. An interesting thing to point out about the 0.16 development cycle is an offshoot of Dash 2 called 0.016A02-2, and it has more to it than its overly complicated name. Like seriously, take a look at this lava! But yeah, as you can see, there isn't that much interesting stuff in particular with these builds going forward. A screenshot there, an old blog post here. There really isn't that much of a change going forward for a lot of these versions. So, instead of having little to say about one version in particular, let's go over some highlights. 0.017 is a very interesting build because the only proof of it existing is from a video promoting a server. Unfortunately, this build of the game will probably never be archived, as the original poster of this video has stated that they wiped their old hard drive before they could save the file. I mean, someone might have it out there, but it's unlikely. 0.019 only has proof from this screenshot, although nothing might seem noteworthy on the surface. If you zoom in, you can see that this player has a sponge in their inventory. Yeah, I actually had no idea these were added in this update, let alone even in Minecraft before 1.8. The image itself is pretty interesting too, like, a store made of leaves? Alright. I mean, it's lost, it has neat little grass structures in the screenshot. Nothing to say here really, let's just move on to the next thing. Oh hey, this one's actually found, and it's a video. Let's investigate. I mean, at least we have the version, right? I'm gonna lump all versions of 0.020 here just as a way to keep this concise, but this section is pretty interesting. So, this update added a lot of new blocks, most notably being wool, and all of its alternate colors, and other stuff like gold bricks. Man, look at that texture. The most notable archive for this version is this old update showcase video from some inactive German YouTuber. Potentially one of the first update showcases, perhaps? What? Hey, the first survival test. The naming scheme of these updates finally got less confusing too. On not just Tumblr, there are a lot of mentioned versions of several survival tests that don't have proof of existing, but most likely did exist. So if you see big leaps in versions going forward, that's why. First video for the survival test, and oh boy was it scuffed. Everything from Steve's broken arm to shadow creepers, as well as being able to pick up water. Despite all of this though, it was a step in the right direction, but very clearly rough around the edges. The proof of this build just adds on to the more wacky stuff we saw in the last one, such as Steve apparently being able to spit out arrows and break stone with his bare fist. Skeletons can also spit out arrows too, apparently. I love this video though because it just encapsulates the essence of 2009 YouTube, like the Windows Movie Maker opening and the copyrighted music. This video is just a fun time. The only video for the 0.26 survival test is beyond cursed. It starts with the player mining for gold with his bare hands that also immediately turns into gold blocks. And if you look into his inventory, you can see things stacked to 99, which is just not okay. Other than that, this video is basically just a 9-minute base tour. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We're at the home stretch now, the last notable version of Minecraft Classic, 0.30. Out of all the 0.30 versions, 3 are found, 1 is lost, 1 is the original created version, 1 is the survival test version, and the third one is found in a launcher labeled 0.30_01C. But this is not the original name, and it is not labeled as such in-game, so I guess we can consider this one partially lost? On the link associated with this version in the Lost Media Wiki, you can find an n.5 file with proof that a 4th version of 0.30 existed. Other than that though, this is the last build of the game before we got into in-dev. And you know, maybe one day I'll cover the lost versions of that development cycle too. But other than that, that's about all there is to the lost builds of Minecraft Classic. It would be really cool if any of these versions are eventually found, so if you potentially think you might have some of these versions, go check, and if you do, leave a comment. It'd be super cool if we could find these. But we still have one more elephant in the room that I would like to discuss now briefly. The Nizat Archive. If you are unfamiliar, the Nizat Archive is an archive channel of an old YouTube channel Notch used to run. It is unknown why these videos were originally deleted, but a lot of the videos here prove that there are even more test versions of Minecraft that are lost that did exist at some point, even if as private versions Notch simply used to test things. Since we are also talking about 0.30, there's an unknown version of that build from this video called Minecraft N.3 Test. It features, strangely enough, models from Quake. This channel is filled to the brim with weird findings of Minecraft's lesser-known history, but we've covered all that we can cover today. So thank you all for watching, and you know, maybe one day we'll also take a dive into the Nizat Archive even more thoroughly to see what findings we can also find there. Other than that, thanks for watching, and until the next upload, see ya. Also, don't forget to watch my stream tonight, twitch.tv/dags117. Bye.